Someone asked me a question today. They said, how do you get that kind of distorted, growly effect on your voice? And I said, well, actually, it's not distortion at all. It's a series of techniques that I have learned over the years. Some I stumbled upon accidentally, others I researched. It's no auto-tune, it's no pitch correction, it's simply taking the voice you're hearing and running it through a couple Adobe Audition filters and layering it and duplicating it, offsetting the duplication by just a micrometer of time to give it a nice echo effect. And I'll show you exactly what all that means after this. So we're going to turn this little snippet here, I'll just sing it for you, into the final product. And if you like the process, I encourage you to follow along and repeat it for yourself. You never know what wonders you can bring out of your voice just with a little bit of software modification. I lay there in the dark and I closed my eyes. You saved me the day you came alive. Come alive, come alive, come alive, come alive, come. And so on and so forth. There you have it. Now, let's break it down, shall we? Alright guys, here's where things start to get a little bit meta for me because I'm editing the video that I just recorded and I'm going to put it into the video that I'm currently still recording right this moment as I'm speaking to you. Let's get into it. So, first things first, you're going to start a new project in Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, assuming you have all of this stuff, it's going to take Adobe Premiere Pro. Pretty much any current version's fine. I have 2020. Adobe Audition, current version's probably going to be fairly similar. I have 2015. Not a big deal. Shouldn't be, because what we're doing is fairly straightforward. A lot of this stuff can be done in other programs, but the filters I like are specifically in Audition. So we're going to roll with that today, and let's make some magic. So let's just start. That was Foo Fighters' Come Alive off of Echo Silence Patience Grace. I encourage you to check that album out. It is fantastic. So let's just call this project Come Alive. Sounds good. Now in Adobe Audition, which I already have open here, you're going to see the audio from just the music section of that video, just the beginning of the video you just watched. So I took the music portion of that, I ripped the audio from that video I saved, cut this clip down, and now we're going to employ the techniques that I talked about before. So you want to do Control A to select the entirety of your track. Now, when I recorded this, what I was doing was playing an instrumental track live in real time against my vocals. So you're going to hear faint trails of that instrumental track behind what I sang. But this, what we're going to do here is going to sort of alleviate some of that. So the first thing you want to do is under Special, Vocal Enhancer. Now for me it's going to be male for my male vocals. There is female, and there's also an enhancer for music which I have not used. But I have used female before when I've tried to fix and repair some vocals and some old audio for a friend of mine. And it does work pretty much just as well as it did on my vocals. So after that, you're going to go to amplitude and compression, and you're going to normalize this entire track. Now you want to have it between 97 and 99%. I found a sweet spot at 98. It's going to bring everything up to a normal volume, and it's going to kind of boost everything as well, closer to the peak limit, the digital limit. We don't want to clip anything. After that finishes processing, we're going to apply the final step, and that is under Filter and EQ under Parametric Equalizer. There is a preset listed among these called Vocal Enhancer. That's all you have to do. Apply that. No other changes need to be made here. And you have just finished enhancing the vocals. Now, do not fret if you notice that what you have done might have caused some clipping here. You just, let me Control A again if you don't have it all selected. And there's actually a nice little tool here under Effects, Declipper. You scan, and look at that. Even though I've reached the limit, the program knew not to clip it because after scanning it found no clips. Let's move on. Exit. It's going to ask you to save. Go ahead and do that. Now, after you have the audio saved over the original, what I have here is a folder which has everything in it that we're going to work with today. The alive.wave, which is right there, that's the extracted from the video I recorded earlier. That's what we just enhanced. The video from YouTube, the instrumental from Foo Fighters that I ripped from YouTube by my own means, we are actually going to need the audio from that because we're going to put that behind the singing and give the instrumentals a boost. So first thing is first, you're going to need a program called Format Factory. Now there are multitudes of programs out there for doing this. This just happens to be the one that I've chosen. It's free, it's open source, and it's been working well for me for about 15 years. So you just drag that video into Format Factory. It's going to prompt you. Scroll down and choose Wave. You don't want an MP3. You want the highest quality possible for anything you are working with. Rule of thumb. After that loads, it says it's waiting. So go ahead and click on Start to get that bad boy going. All right. Now you've got a WAV file of the instrumental track. So let's throw all this together. What do you say? First things first, put the video into your project, which I've named Come Alive in Adobe Premiere. So now we have the video you watched earlier, which is all going to come together eventually. I'll do it after post, I promise, and you'll see it's going to be cool as shit. Alright, so now that we have that in there, let's just start adding to it. So this is the vocally enhanced singing I did. And we're going to try to line it up perfectly, and you'll see how that comes together in a second. Here's the instrumental. Now, from the instrumental, we need just the section I sang. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that down and not bore you. I'll probably cut this video down a bit. But I'm going to go ahead and clip all this and line it up properly, and once I have that, I'll show you the next steps to make this sound really killer. Alright, now that I've done all my moving around and cutting and clipping, what we have is the original video, the audio that I enhanced in Adobe Audition, lined up perfectly against the source, and the instrumental track to lie underneath it. Now, you're going to have to play with the leveling until it sounds like you want it to sound as far as the vocals against the instrumentals. Do you want the vocals to sit high in the mix? Do you want it to be louder, softer? That's up to you. By right-clicking and doing an audio gain, you can adjust it by decibel, by a fraction of a decibel if you wish, just 0.5 if you wish, and that's and negative to bring the volume down. And you just play with it until you find a good, happy balance between your vocals and the instrumental. But I don't encourage you to start messing with the levels until you highlight the audio track of the vocals we enhanced in Audition. Control C, shrink your project down. You don't want to overwrite anything. Go out here, Control V. Now you just made a copy, and see I left a gap here in the track list. You just made a copy, line it up, of the audio. Now this is what I was talking about earlier about offsetting it. So you can go to around the beginning of it, go in as far in as you can go, as far in, because you don't want to really mess it up or go too far away from the source. Take your second one that you copied and pasted, move it over one hair. That's it. It'll snap one increment. That's the most, or the least amount of time you can move it in Adobe Premiere. Right click, audio gain, immediately bring that moved track down, I'm going to say 3 decibels. And what you have is a copied track that sits a little bit off, creating a little bit of an echo, and it's a little bit quieter, and it's going to sound great against those instrumentals. Now let's mess with the video. Go back to Video Effects, and search for just the word color. Choose color balance and just drag it over to the video track. From here, all I do is bring a mid-tone blue up a little bit, highlight blue maybe a little bit, and that way when I smile you don't see any discoloration or coffee stains on my teeth, at least not as much. Tricks of the trade, everybody. So let's look at the finished product, shall we? I'm going to probably mess with the contrast and brightness as well, which you can do simply by deleting the word color here and just typing bright. That's probably enough to find brightness and contrast. So now you know what it takes to make a cover. And let's see the result. I lay there in the dark and I closed my eyes.